and I set the intention for the session that we're here to assist Chakra Bunnie with her hidden witch wounds, the wounds that are currently hidden to her in her past, present, parallel, future lives. And I would like to ask Chakra Bunnie's guides to step forwards, one of your guides to step forwards at first to assist with this session, to communicate with me. And there's two that step forwards. There's your highest self, and also your, I was going to say Lemurian guide, but it is the past life version of you. This is very much about you. It's about your highest self in this past life of you. And she's a mermaid, and she's holding a book, and it's a storybook, and she's saying, I want to take you back in time with this storybook. And I'm just asking where the storybook is from. And she's saying it's from your Akashic records. And so I'd like us both now to just focus on our hearts. And we ask that Chakra Bunnie's guides, her angels, her gatekeepers of our Akashic records, take us up now through a portal in the top of the circle of this session, still within the protection of this session, opening a portal and rising up. And so at first, the Akashic Record Library is being shown as a library, and then they're saying that it's also a tree. So suddenly it's almost like a kind of Harry Potter experience where I see all the books now like just falling, like flying off the shelves, and they're becoming into this swirl, and this swirling pattern is forming the outline of a tree. And it's this big, beautiful oak tree. And so now I'm going to tell you this story. I'm going to ask your guide to help me with the details now that we're connected. And she's asking me to sit with you. So this is the three of us, and we're sat in the safety, in the little triangle or almost circle in the center of our session. And so our story begins of Chakra Bunnie's lifetime around the 1400s. And she lived as a man, as a father of two, and you were also married. In Scotland, I believe it's on, I could be wrong, but I believe it's on the west coast of Scotland, and it's a village that no longer exists there. It is very near the island of Uist. And it's a really beautiful, rugged, magical place. That part of the country gets a lot of storms and a lot of weather that comes through from the Atlantic Ocean, and you do a really great job looking after your family. You have this harbor that is down at the sea, and you work really hard. You're like the harbor master. You're also a fisherman. And so the trauma I'm being drawn to is you were tall and quite a powerful man. I see this like long beard. Your clothes, like your wife was always like helping you with your clothes, and they're always like thick. There's not oilskins, but like kind of thick woolly jumpers, and constantly sewing and mending them. You're always tearing them, and you'd be helping fishermen. You'd be helping yourself. You'd be fishing yourself. It was a tough but rewarding life. And there was this growing fear in the village of witchcraft. And there was, I would say, a culture growing over a few hundred years now. some of this culture of fear towards magic stems back to years prior to that, when there were like bigger battles between darkness and light, and the darkness, was busy like forming structures and even religions around the kind of this kind of genocide of witches. And what happened was, whenever there was like someone that they wanted to punish for being a witch, they would drag them down in like a small mob of maybe, 4 to 6 people, would drag them down to the poor soul down to the bay, no matter where the tide was, and they would repeatedly drown them. So it's like a kind of water torture, and they would put their head underwater for a period of time, and then bring them back up and try and get them to answer a question like, are you a witch? Like, what, did you place a curse on someone? Whatever it was. And so they'd repeat this. And sometimes, to begin with, it started as people would confess, and then it felt that was enough. And then they were largely just ostracized from the village, like told to leave. But it got worse, it escalated, and eventually it began killing people. You witnessed every single one of these. They're all outside your house. They all involved a lot of the village, sometimes the entire village, and they made a big point of putting the kids there as well to watch them. And this just gradually filled you with, like, initially you were on the mob's side. Like, you thought these were really bad people. You thought that they were performing dark arts. You had some experience in your life of being on the receiving end of dark magic. And you thought this was good. This was a good thing to do. But many suffered in this fate. And it feels like over the space of just a few years, I'm seeing 3 years, there was about 20 people that had been subjected to this, of about 11 of which had died. And their souls of those that died came to your house. They saw you because of the location. It's almost like they would do this ritual in front of you, facing you. And this meant that often the last thing they saw were you, your family, your home, because they were the nearest. And initially you were haunted by them for a while. Like at nights, you'd hear them walking around outside, tapping on the doors. Some of them were quite nasty people when they were alive. Not that they didn't deserve to die. But when they passed over, they made a real point of haunting you and your family. And then something happened. You started to go through this awakening, and the awakening was triggered by, first of all, the morality changed when they started doing this to some of the villagers. And you saw the terror and the shock and the pain and the suffering in your friends and family, because it's a very small village. There's only about 100 or so people there, and it was one of their own. They would call each other one of their own, or one of the village. And to see someone die like this, that really woke you up, and then it made you think. It was like you're going through these experiences of these ghosts continuing to annoy you and your family at night in your home. And you're starting to see that this was becoming out of control, that this fear was escalating. And you feared for your family's safety, for your life. And you didn't want to talk about the ghostly experiences you're having. You didn't want it to be perceived as like communing with the devil, or that you had some abilities. And there was a trigger moment, and the trigger was when one of the villagers was drowned. Just their final words, and they were looking at you, and what did they say to you? So they spoke some light language, and it was a curse that they gave you and your family. And I'm not gonna. I can hear it. I'm not gonna repeat it because it is a curse. So I'm getting like a loose interpretation. I'm just asking my guides to assist me. So they're saying, may you be haunted by the soul of every soul that suffers at the hands of this. May you be haunted for 1,000 years is what she said. The 1,000 years is very important. And you don't want to wait until, what would that be? The year 2400 for the curse to be lifted. Okay, and in that lifetime, that was quite shocking to you because you felt it, you felt this energy, and the curse was really a gift. Like, it woke you up. You started going through this awakening. You started to see the like auras around people, like the each of their gifts, and you could tell like very few of these people actually had developed psychic abilities or dark or light magic abilities. Okay. And so then you started to develop your own abilities, and there was lots of different ways you practiced this. It was a gift. It is a gift of interdimensional abilities. So you can phase shift. You can phase shift yourself and other beings or other objects. And this started by you would notice that you could walk around the village and everyone knew you, and because your position was well known, and they knew you by name. And I'm hearing this wasn't your actual name, but they called you Brack, and Brack was like bracken, like it was describing you had this really like long wild hair, and it reminded them of kelpie, of seaweed, but also like a mix of seaweed and like kind of bush. So they called you Brack, which was like a bush, and you left. And so you left for the Isle of Skye, off the north west coast of Scotland, and you were called there. You were drawn there, and when you arrived there, now today there's a big bridge, and you can drive across. It's not that far by boat, but it was still quite isolated, and there was a community there. And you visited this community, and like they knew straight away, they knew of you as the human, but they knew about your soul and your gifts, and they knew a lot about your journey. They were really like I would describe them as like I'm hearing woman's covenant, but it was more like there were men as well. It was a matriarchy, and they were just a really beautiful, loving community, and they worked the land. They had a lot of natural healing knowledge and abilities, and they had very strong connections with the Fae, and they knew a lot about the universe. They knew about frequency and phases and shifting, and there you lived on for decades. For that time, many people wouldn't make it past about 40 or 50 years old, and you were already in your almost in your 40s when you went there. You lived on into your 60s and beyond, and you did this beautiful thing of where you protected, whenever there was visitors to the island, you protected this area where you lived by creating this like phase shift, like a bubble. And it reminds me of in the Wonder Woman movies how they have this like big invisibility kind of dome that sits around where they live, and that's what you were able to create. And one day they will find this story, whether it's through this video or directly through their own experiences. But they laid you to rest when you died as Brack. They laid you to rest. First of all, you sat against a tree. There's this beautiful tree, and there's not many trees there because of the weather. And you sat on the ground and you held the hands of your loved ones. Okay, and just being asked to help you now with this healing. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to take you back to that tree where you passed on as Brack, and you were doing like this, like, whoa. That was like incredible, being part of like another version of you, like you're like the two of you are like overlaid on each other. And Brack is still very much alive. Brack wants to stay on a little bit longer to watch what happens next. And so I'd like to bring in some healing energy to heal every aspect of Chakra Bunny. Now that this dark energy that over time was becoming an entity of fear and anxiety and blockage, I'm just feeling my hands like coming alive now, coming on fire with this beautiful golden light. I bring in this healing energy. I'm going to work my way down through the chakras and just bring in this healing and return the chakras to their full strength and their full ability. Into the heart. Dantiama tarunti miyama katuni miyatachi chiti miyo kamamana ra simurunchi miyo ama. We heal these lifetimes. We heal this body. We heal your chakras. We heal this energy. And in its own time, we invite in the Kundalini awakening within Chakra Bunny from the center of the earth, building up like a dancing snake of energy up through the root of your spine. We now connect in this Kundalini energy. And with this dragon light language, I help activate your Kundalini. I release what no longer serves your highest good. Just a few tingles there as I'm disconnecting our energy. And I look forward to talking with you. So I'll be uploading this video shortly. And yeah, please take care of yourself, drink plenty of water, get plenty of rest, and to know that you're so deeply loved, both by me and all these souls in this session throughout your many lives. And we're so lucky and blessed to have you on this planet. And I send you so much love from Scotland. Love you.